All right, Ryan, you told me today's Aubrey Griffin day on Listen Up. The spotlight goes on Aubrey Griffin. It's Phil and Ryan on Listen Up. And Ryan, we hope that everyone has some big plans this weekend as it is Friday. I'm sure a lot of people are glad of that, especially up in UConn, huh? July 15th, Friday, Ryan. We're halfway through July. And with that said, what do you have on Aubrey Griffin?
Yeah, let's keep on moving through this players list. I'm excited each player gets to have their own episode. But Aubrey Griffin, 6'1" forward, entering her redshirt junior year this season. As a freshman, she appeared in every game off the bench, which I did not know. She averaged 6.4 points, 5.4 rebounds. Her sophomore year, the next year, Aubrey played in 29 games, including 5 starts. She did have a very solid 2 first years here at UConn. And then, of course, last year, I think we were all expecting some big things from her. I think she would have had a lot of opportunities to play last season with all the injuries. We all already know everything that happened last season. But unfortunately, a combination of ankle, leg, back injuries held her out for the entire season, like we all already know about what happened to Aubrey last season. Very, very unfortunate. And that was the case for almost the whole team in terms of dealing with injuries. But it was so unfortunate that Aubrey had to deal with those injuries last season and was unable to play because you could really tell she was progressing and improving her game. So hopefully in these next couple of months, she can get her body back to 100%, get back into the groove of things. And I just think like Amari DeBerry, the last player we covered in this series, Aubrey Griffin can provide some good minutes off the bench for UConn, but make no mistake, back surgery is something that is very, very difficult to overcome. To be able to get her body where it needs to be to compete again has been and is still going to be very, very difficult for Aubrey. And to play at that high level like she's done in the past, it's going to be very difficult to get back there.
Is definitely a shame when you look at it because I mean she was being counted on a lot and
Yeah.
she was again you could count on her a lot coming out of high school. As you look at 2019 to 20, her freshman year, she appeared in all 32 games off the bench. And then you look at, she may have not started, but hey, she's only a freshman. So you have to remember that.
Right.
And then, but she did appear in all 32 games off the bench. That's something to not ignore. And then as a sophomore, 20 to 21, she appeared in 29 games with 5 starts. So you're right. It's like that what could have been moment. And I still feel, heavily sorry for her and the whole team. You just wonder, sometimes how often Gino goes back and thinks to himself, man, what could have been? I get it. They made it to the finals, the final game, but the championship game. But again, just for specifically individual players, man, what could have been? It's not all about the stats and getting racking up your personal resume in sports, in team sports. It's about winning and surrounding yourself with a positive attitude, and that is to help the team win. But at the end of the day, you just wonder what could have been for Aubrey Griffin, as right here did not play due to injury, 21 through 22. So, yeah, I get it. It's all about the team, but at the end of the day, man, just think of them personal stats and how much better she could have been. Because as you see, 29 games, 5 starts as a sophomore. I could have really seen 10 plus starts, as a junior, but just did not happen.
Yeah, I mean, and luckily she still has 2 years left, right? But like I
Mhm.
mentioned, it's going to be very hard to get back to the same level. And I think throughout summer workout, she wasn't participating fully, but I think she was progressing fairly well. Gino, I don't think he was really sure where she was in terms of her progress or how much of an impact that she'll be able to make. I think that's the case with a lot of players. Every player has something different they're dealing with, different types of injuries, 2 new recruits coming in, different situations for everybody on the team. But I mean, luckily for Aubrey, she has 2 more years to get right, and hopefully we can see her back on the court this season at some shape and some form. But I think she's a very, very gifted, talented athlete, just like everybody here is at UConn. So I root and pull for all the athletes that UConn brings in. every single year and every athlete that's on the team. But we all know how much Gino cares about each and every girl and player, athlete, student athlete on this team. So I know that he's keeping a very close eye on Aubrey, and we just all hope that she can return to the court this season, because like I said, I think she has the potential to get back to that high level, but it's going to be very difficult.
So let me ask you this. I like to put the pressure on you every once in a while, right? With that said, with her coming back as a junior, and we already have the starting five. Again, we love to get this conversation going because it really sparks up quick, right? With that said, Ryan, do you, even if she's has the potential to start right away, or even if she, for instance, say that she was one of your everyday starters before she got injured. Let's just say that. Let's just say she got more than 5 starts during her, sophomore year. Let's just say
Right.
let's just say she was an everyday starter, even though she was not. She only got 5 starts.
No.
With that said, if you're Gino, she's telling you she feels great, she feels ready to go. Do you still put her in as a returning junior every game if she is one of your 5 starters, even though I get it, she's not? Or do you still play her off the bench and slowly introduce her back to the game?
Yeah, I mean, I think definitely if she wouldn't have gotten injured, I think there would have been a great possibility she would have been a regular starter. But I mean, with Dorka there and Aaliyah, it would have been very difficult because they're also 2 very great players. But I think Aubrey could have probably played that 3 spot as well. So I think she probably could have been in that starting lineup if the injury wouldn't have happened. But now I think with that injury, I think it's just the safest option is to just bring her back slowly.
Off the bench.
I mean, it's going to be very difficult because especially with everybody that UConn has this year, we expect the roster to be pretty stacked. All 11 of these players up and down
Yeah.
the roster, great size, great speed, length, athleticism. So she's going to have some competition on the bench as well. But I think a lot of these players can provide good minutes from when the starters have to sit. But I think for Aubrey, the safe option, even if she is 100% right now or before the season starts, I think it's just safe to just ease her back in because she hasn't played for a full year. So I don't think really anybody knows what to expect.
So am I right there, correct? Because I'm definitely not. And when we have the episode closer to like October, November with our final prediction of the starting 5, I'm not going to actually put. I'll just tell you now, I'm not putting Aubrey Griffin in the starting 5. But with that said, will you put her in the starting 5? Is what I'm getting at, or just because of the back injury, you're definitely not. Even if she's starter ready, you're not putting her in the starting 5.
No, no way. Not with the back injury, all the injuries she suffered last season. We just really don't know what to expect. And she only started 5 games in her sophomore year as well. So just not enough experience. And with all those injuries, it'd be very, very tough on her to just push her into the starting lineup.
I agree. I agree there, Ryan. And then when you take a look at because we always talk so much about the starting 5, starting 5. I know it's tough to tell again with her back injury and the injuries that she's coming off of, but what do you see her? Do you see her having full potential? Do you see her contributing big time off of the bench, or will this be? I don't want to put it this way, but will this likely be the declining part of her basketball career? We hope not, but I know you never want to predict negative for anyone. But I mean, if you just had to make a clear, bold prediction,
Prediction.
I'm sorry, prediction. What do you say? What do you say? Will she decline or does her stock keep rising? Maybe WNBA ready.
Yeah, I mean that would be the ultimate goal. That would be awesome if she would be able to get drafted. I mean, it's just so hard to say, but I think for this season, I don't think we see a lot out of her. I really don't. I hope we do. I hope we get to see a lot of everybody.
Mm-hmm.
But the UConn roster this year is so deep. And I really just don't know what to expect out of Aubrey this season. I don't really think Gino knows how ready that she is and how her body really feels. So I just think it's going to be very difficult to be able to find her minutes on the court. I think maybe it'll be something like her freshman year, like we saw. She might appear, get 5 to 10 minutes off the bench at the end of games,
Mhm.
when UConn has a 20, 15 point lead at the end of the game. So I
Yeah.
think that's probably the most likely, in my opinion, that we see out of Aubrey Griffin this season.
All right, I'll tell you what, they really did a great job coming through on that last video. So we will get straight down to comments, Ryan, with about 10 minutes left here on Listen Up. UConn Huskies forward Amari DeBerry. The comments going over the last video. Michael Lawson, thanks for coming through, Michael. DeBerry, Dorka, Brady, Patterson, Beckers equals problems. There you go. It's sparked already. The starting five. He just gave it to you.
Yeah, it has. It's going to be very interesting. I can't wait until it gets to October around that time and we bring out that episode with our final predictions, because it's going to be fun. I know that'll spark a lot of comments again, but it's fun to try to predict the starting lineup, especially this season, because I think you can make probably three different starting lineups and make a really strong case about them. So there's still a long way to go though. But I think right now you could probably make three, maybe even even four different starting lineups and probably have a good argument for it.
Robert Schlink, total agree. She should have had more time last year. He's obviously referring to Amari DeBerry. That's the last episode that we've had.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I mean, when she was a freshman coming in, I think she deserved a lot more minutes, especially with all the injuries as well. But I think it was just so hard because even Gino admitted it. He never been through something like that. So I just think it was new for everybody. But I agree. I think she could have gotten a lot more minutes, and it would have been benefited her a lot more this season, getting that extra experience.
Tom Kibbe goes, Amari puzzles me. Gino has said she is one of the most skilled bigs he has seen. But then in his early summer summary, he was lukewarm about her. Sounds like she needs to get her head in the right place.
Yeah, I mean that is what it sounds like. So, I mean, hopefully for her, she can figure things out maybe. But I mean, I think for Gino, it's hard to tell, early in the off season throughout these summer workouts where everybody is. I think maybe he's just trying to get a feel about each and every student athlete on this team, all 11 players, just to get a feel for where they are before the season starts. But like I said, we got a long way to go. But I think for Amari, she definitely is a very gifted athlete at 6'5". She can definitely wreak havoc in the paint, and especially if she works on her shot, I think she can be kind of like a smaller Dorka Uhas maybe. So she definitely has a lot of potential, and she can really shine on this team if she does work on her shot and different aspects of her game.
Jason D'Amico, there's no way to tell what kind of progress DeBerry has made until game one or when the starting lineups are announced. My opinion, and it means very little, is that DeBerry would have to make huge strides to catch up to the likes of now WNBA talent Olivia Nelson-Ododo or returning centers Aaliyah Edwards and Dorka Uhas. If UConn is to win it all, they need women that can move bodies in the paint and do it without getting into foul trouble. And for the love of all that's holy, make their foul shots and bunny layups. Okay, I'm feeling better now. Great show, fellas. Peace.
Yeah, well, amen to that, right? I mean, I was talking about that for the most of all last season about UConn getting these easy shots and layups under the basket, and when they when they get fouled, not making their foul shots and missing bunny layups and easy shots. So hopefully they can fix that for this season, because they rely heavily on the offense when they maybe struggle a little bit on the defense because they're so talented on that offensive side of things. But I mean, I think for Amari DeBerry and Aubrey Griffin, as much as we all would like to see both of them get minutes this season, get a lot of minutes, possibly see them start at some point, I do agree with Aaliyah and Dorka And even with Lou Lopez as well, it's going to be hard to be able to find minutes for both of them. As much as we know they're very, very talented athletes, but I think it's still going to be very, very difficult for Gino to be able to work them into the lineup and see where they fit, being able to come up with minutes for both of them off the bench. I think it's going to be pretty difficult.
I like DeBerry. She can stretch the floor and shoot from outside really well, but her inside game needs work. I also think her head is not all the way in the game. She will she will get there. Well, I like that last part of that, Ryan, because again, we talk about you surround yourself with great people, you will be great. So hey, they're predicting big things from Amari DeBerry.
Yeah, and I hope they're right. I do agree with that. Like we talked about, the team chemistry. That's why these summer workouts and when they practice during the off season is so important, because everybody on UConn is so gifted, and a lot of these players are returning players that have been here 1, 2, 3 years already. So they definitely know what they're doing and what to expect from Gino, what Gino expects from them. So for these new players coming in or returning players that maybe haven't figured out quite what Gino wants to see out of them or expects, or what kind of system he expects to see from them. That's why the players at UConn that are already here, they can definitely help them out, build that team chemistry up, and to the likes of what we saw at the end of last season. So I have a full confidence in the team. They'll get everybody ready. And that chemistry, like we saw at the end of last season, will be there at the start of this season.
About one more to end the day, Ryan, and go into the weekend strong. David Serrano, thanks for coming through, bud. What's up? Hey, guys, brilliant breakdown of Amari and how she can be an impact player this upcoming season. I just want to go a little off topic here. This UConn team in the offseason has done the following. Surprise former teammate Avina in New York, then in D.C. Watched a storm in Mohegan Sun and had a moment with former Huskies Sue and Stewie. Watched the NBA Finals, Game 4 and Game 6 in Boston. Had a moment with Steph, Draymond, Clay, and invited them to stores in the upcoming season. The team also visited injured former teammate Kristen in DC. Wow, I'm liking this comment a lot, Ryan. Intangible, definitely. But how does off-court chemistry and bonding impact the way they play? I'd like to hear your thoughts on this. Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's a great comment. I really enjoyed that one. And yesterday, now that you mentioned off the court activities, I forgot to say something about this. Yesterday, I saw where UConn were riding horses together. So that's just another team bonding activity that they're doing off the court. And
they weren't up in Amish country, were they? They weren't in Pennsylvania.
No, I don't think so. I'll have to look at it again.
If you saw Bird in Hand in the background, they were definitely riding through Pennsylvania, Amish country.
Yeah, they might have been pretty close to us. You never know. But and also with all the work they do about charitable activities and working for charity and other foundations as well. So yeah, that's definitely something that doesn't get brought up a lot, as all the off the court activities that the team does during this, not just during the off season, but during the season as well. They also do a lot around the community, around stores, and in Connecticut as well. So it's definitely really, really important for all the coaches and players, especially the players, to come together, do these type of activities, and that'll just keep building their chemistry up more and more. And I think that's why it's something special that's been building it here at UConn for years and years. That's why the team, it seems that like they're so together on the court. It's almost like they know what each other's going to do before they do it at some time. So I think that's just another reason why they're so fun to watch. It's not just because they're all so gifted, talented athletes that we see playing basketball, but their chemistry together when they're celebrating on the bench, in the team huddle, on the court, their chemistry is so special. So I think that's why this team is just so fun to watch each and every year.
Yeah, and I don't really think, I mean, again, I'm not saying it has nothing to do with bonding on the court, Ryan, but think about it this way too. Maybe the parents of them players, maybe the players themselves, it plays a big role, I think, too, in the recruitment process. Like, hey, they're doing all these off-season activities. They're not doing it for just nothing. They're not doing it just for just anything. there's a reason behind it, and you talk about, yes, it may go into a little bit of a factor of them performing on the court. But with that said, I think it plays a bigger role into actually the decision-making process on whether you want to go to UConn or not.
Yeah, completely agree. That's just another reason, and that probably plays into the mind of a high school athlete. It's really important that when a new recruit's coming in, they feel comfortable with not only
Mhm.
the coaches but all the players there as well.
I still think it's, we had them episodes earlier, them interviews. I still find it, out of all the college athletes I've talked to, the high school athletes coming out of high school, getting ready to graduate and going into a big school, I still find it very interesting, Ryan. I told you over and over, you would think that they want, the parents and the student athletes, you would think, yeah, I want to go to the biggest school in the country, perform at the biggest, highest games. But no, I mean, at the end of the day, I found where the majority of these student athletes that we're interviewing, they said they don't like to go to a school that's too small, and they don't like to go to a school where it's too big. All right. They like medium sized schools.
Yeah, and I mean it just all depends on the athlete. I mean, maybe some people may like the bigger schools, some athletes may like the smaller schools. So it just depends on the athlete. Everybody has different likes and different personalities as well. But it's definitely another reason why UConn I think is so special because everybody's bonded together. Gino knows how to recruit these girls. He definitely knows what he's doing. Shows them around the campus, shows them Paige Beckers and all these gifted athletes as well. But the team's just so together, and I hope that continues for years and years to come. That the tradition continues.
I want to shout out to someone very special. Happy birthday to her. July the 16th, tomorrow, Saturday. Shout out to her. Ryan, we will be back in Monday morning. Have a great weekend, bud. It's Phil and Rye on Listen Up.